all doing amazing! I am so sorry for being late, guys. I'm so sorry for being late. I didn't mean to be late. I hyperfixated on something that I was working on, Your Honor. I hyperfixated on what I was working on today, Your Honor. I got really, really into what I was writing, and so I was like, wait! I looked at the time, I was like, oh shit, it's still! But anyways. How are y'all doing today, huh? How have you guys been? Have you guys had a good weekend so far? Did you guys, do anything exciting over the weekend? Think of just working! Makes sense. I've been working on a few things, various things over the weekend, but, you know, I think it's okay. I've been having a lot of fun with it. As you guys can tell by the fact that I was late to stream because I was working on something. But anyways. Today, we are going to be doing Lobotomy Corporation. We're going to be continuing today. So we're just going to get right into it. I did ask for advice with the abnormality that I didn't really know how to deal with. I asked some of my friends about it, and, well, we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully we can clear this stream. I'm planning on doing a shorter stream today just because I've been dealing with a sleep schedule change recently, guys, again, so admittedly I don't have the highest energy right now. I haven't really eaten today yet, sadly. But, you know, I think we will be fine. But, let's just go for it, shall we? Let's just not work with her for now. Let's just not work with her. I know what we wanted to do, actually. We got all this guy. Got all this guys. I think it was literally just the new abno that we had to deal with. I think everyone else, we have all their equipment. I thought we were paused. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. Don't touch the button. I got that. Got that, and got all these. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's literally only her we have to work on, really, unless we want to focus on increasing stats. But even then, it's like, I don't really know what other stats we really have to increase. Oh, we guess I could work with this guy. What other stats are in need? Purple? It's just this guy who needs to train all his stats, I think. We're really low on purple, so let's do that. Forget what you like. You like low red. I don't think anyone's red. Oh, you're low red. Let's do that. You like white. I guess we should just focus on making all of our guys have like really high everything. So put everyone at 5, I guess we can focus on. Okay, we're good in blue. Need more purple on the other person. So let's do purple over here. Let's do purple over here. This person likes purple, right? This person likes purple. Okay. Let's do this person. And we're just gonna let it go. And we'll see how this goes. We're working with basically everyone, but I think it's okay. I'm so worried about this lady, though. We could not, for the life of us, get her before. We couldn't stop her. So I'm really hoping that it doesn't turn out that way again. We'll see. Let's knock on wood. Okay, everyone has 5 there. Let's do red with 10. White. You. Purple. Let's do this person. Purple. Let's do this person. can do blue. Oh no, everyone's good on blue. Oh wait! Someone died! Bro! Why are we dying on our very first abnormality? What the flippity? What? Why are we dying? We weren't even doing anything weird. SMH. Take 2. Hopefully no one dies. Oh. White. Red. Purple. Oh, we could work with this one, but I don't know if you like working with this one. I feel like I remember not liking working with this one, but we'll see how it goes. Go over here. I'm gonna keep cycling through the purple. What? Bro, why are we getting such bad results for no reason? Chat, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I can't tell what. I don't know. Am I just getting unlucky, chat? I don't know, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know. We're just gonna keep trying. I have a feeling I think I might just be getting unlucky. I think I might just be getting unlucky, guys. I think we're okay so far. Oh! What?! Why are we dying on literally the first 2?! What? Why are we dying on the first 2?! I feel like we should be able to clear those so easy now, no? I'm so confused why we're dying. I'm so confused how we're dying. Because these are literally like our very first ones. I don't know why we're dying to them. And yet the higher ones that we're working on are fine. Like, I'm not really sure what the issue is, so I just need to not touch these guys anymore. I just like leave those guys alone. work on the more recent ones. The higher level ones. Read crumbling armor? But this guy's not a problem, I don't think. Okay, so I don't want to work with this. Let's work with this guy. Okay, but it doesn't explain this. You know what? I'm just gonna live with it. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. We'll only do purple work here. Since these three, for some reason, have killed people. And this one, but that's besides the point. That's our only red, so we don't really got much of a choice there. Man! Okay. Gonna keep training her red there. Has the flames on their head, don't do attachment anymore. Okay, pause for a second, like, oh, what you like what? I think this is okay. I could also work with Punbird for instinct. Wait, what am I doing? I can... For insight. Anyone who has low white, I can just train them with Punbird as well. We're just gonna... do this. Ah! I forgot! Okay, hold on. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Where? Load in yet? Oh, okay, it's just a meltdown. Oh, shoot. Okay, that. Here's the thing. We're gonna pray that we can deal with that. Is anyone... Get here, and then turn it off. He died from that! Bro, why? Why you die? What? I'm so confused, guys. Chat. Honestly, chat, what if... Hear me out, chat. What if... Hear me out. What if we just... What if we watched... What if we watched a summary of LobCorp and then started Library of Ruina? I hear that's what a lot of people do, right? What if we just, like... watched a summary of LobCorp and then moved on to Ruina? Would you guys be mad at me if we did that? Because I'm low-key getting so mad at this game already and we're only half an hour into the stream. We're only half an hour into the stream. If the gameplay is too hard, you can watch a summary or a playthrough. That is true. I did already buy Ruina, by the way, chat. It was only like $14 for the Steam summer sale, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy it. And so I bought it. After that, you can always come back and download like easy mods. Oh, I guess I could. Yeah, I could always come back. Well, I don't know, guys. Do we feel like watching a summary and starting Ruina today? Is that what we feel like doing, guys? Watch along party. We do a watch along party and then start Ruina, would be? Because I feel like my guys are just dying for no reason. But also I don't know. Hold on, let me see what's happening next week. Honestly, guys, we could. We absolutely could. I am not opposed. I'm not opposed at all, actually, doing that. Because I'm looking at my schedule next week, right, guys? And, like, I'm, like, kind of packed with collabs next week. So I would be down to, like, I would be down to, like, not do LobCorp next week anyway. So if we really, really wanted to, we could just, like, not Lobotomy Corp today and instead do something else. And then just, like, we could just, like, pick up Ruina next time my week is free, you know? We could do that. Would you guys be down? Ruina isn't any easier, but I feel like Ruina at least makes more sense to me than Lobotomy Corp, not gonna lie. Because I've watched someone play Ruina a little bit, and it makes no sense, but I feel like it would make more sense to me. And it's less punishing. Yeah, it's less punishing. I feel like it's less punishing. We could just... Hold on, guys. Okay, alright. Chat! Find a watch-along of the Lobotomy Corp lore. Or find a summary so we can watch along with it. Guys, you have a summary of, like, all of the Lobotomy Corp lore that you guys like, that we can watch together. And we just turn this into a watch-along stream. memory. Do you guys have one you recommend? Otherwise, I'm just gonna look up one and just like watch the first one. Or maybe we'll watch a bunch of them. Oh my god. I found two, guys. This could be our stream for today. Guys, I found two. One is like a short one and one's like an hour-long one. So we could just watch the hour-long one together and that would be our stream for today. Yeah, I see 8-Bit Hypocrite and I see Wordsmith Vids. Do you guys want to watch those? You can also watch a playlist of just the cutscenes. Oh, we could do that too after, yeah. We could do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the hour one first, then the 16-minute one, like recap, and then we can watch all the cutscenes. How about that? Actually, how long is all the cutscenes? Hold on. Oh, all of them are like really short, but it's like 100. Oh. Chat, is this a watch-along stream? Alright, we're switching it, guys! Okay. I gave up. More watch along. Okay, switch the stream title, guys. Hold on, let me these are YouTube videos, so I don't think I'll get copyrighted for showing them, right? I think that's how it works. They're YouTube videos, so I don't think I'll get copyrighted because they're not like music or anything, or like an anime. So if they're let me check with management. Hold on. Hold on. If I show a YouTube video on stream, will I get copyrighted? Question mark. Oh, management, tell me, can I show the video? I think, okay, one of the mods are telling me that it's, one of the mods is telling me that as long as it's not music, it should be okay? I think, which I also think is the case, but I don't know, guys. I could just risk it for the biscuit, guys. Because I'm pretty sure these streams are getting copyrighted for the music anyway, if I recall correctly. But I don't know. know you might get demonetized, but okay, I think it should be fine. I think we should be fine. Okay, let me load the videos that I want to watch on Chrome. Hour-long one. So what order should we do this in, guys? The hour-long, and then the short summary, and then the cutscenes? Is that the best option here? Guys, do you think? Long then short, then we can see if you can do the cutscenes live or not. Oh, that's true. Yeah, because I don't know if I'll have time for that. I don't know why I have subtitles on. Or I have Russian subtitles on. That's weird. I guess I just automatically put whatever subtitles were on. Weird. Okay, let me... I want to check what I'm sharing for it. Yes, so capture. Can I put game capture on? I don't think I can. In that case, let's window capture from okay. So then let's put this back here. Guys, would you rather me watch it like this, or would you rather me like small screen it? Would you guys rather me watch it like this, or would you rather me small screen? Guys, big screen, large screen? Okay, let's do that then. Let me close LabCorp. And let me get rid of this. This. Here. Chat a little bigger. Let's make chat a little bigger. How? How's that, guys? You guys like this? Is this setup okay? Or should I move the chat over here? What do you guys think? Is this good? Or should I move chat back over here? Where do you guys like chat to be, huh? What do you guys think? You guys want chat on the right or left? Right or left, guys? Where should I put chat? Where should I put you guys? Huh? Oh, I put on your side? Okay. Alright. Let's keep it like this. I'm gonna keep the logo there just because if anyone stumbles upon me that, you know, isn't normally here, then, well, there you go. Well, let me, we're watching the lore summary of LabCorp instead, cause game too hard. Frowny face. Pin! Okay. Chat, are we ready for the entire story of Lobotomy Corp? Are we ready? I don't know if I'm ready, to be honest, guys. I don't know if I'm ready. But you know, we're not ready for most of things in life. So let's do this! Wapal! me know if the volume's too loud or quiet, by the way, guys.
Alright, looks like everyone is finally here. Welcome to the first day of class, everyone. I'll be your teacher for this semester. You can call me Professor Hypocrite. Now, I know everyone is eager to get started, but I wanted to get some things out of the way before we begin. First of all, I assume that everyone here is attending for one of 4 reasons. 1, you just need more credit hours and knew the class would be easy. That's fine. Welcome. 2, you're a huge Project Moon fan who only consumes Project Moon content, and you're going to correct me in the comments about every little thing. That's also fine. Glad to have you. 3, you didn't understand the ending, or you didn't have it in you to complete Lobotomy Corporation because the game is full of what we in the business call bullshit difficulty. And you want to know what the hell is going on.
Chat, he cursed. Or they cursed. Chat, is that allowed? Chat, am I gonna get demonetized for them cursing? Because they cursed? Actually, we're 40 minutes into the stream, we're fine. Okay, never mind.
So you can continue to the next game. I totally understand. This game is pretty unfair, I won't lie. But I'm glad you gave it a shot, and Project Moon really hit their stride with the next games, so I hope this helps you out. And finally, number 4. This class randomly popped into your recommended, or a friend sent it to you because they want you to get into the series. If that's the case, run far away, cut all ties with this person. They are lost. They cannot be saved.
We're gonna go back.
Glad you out. And Project Moon really hit their stride with the next games, so I hope this helps you out. And finally, number 4. This class randomly popped into your recommended, or a friend sent it to you because they want you to get into the series. If that's the case, run far away.
That's also kind of
cut
me.
all ties
My friend
with this
got me
person.
hooked, and now I want to know more about the writing and the world
they
building and the
cannot
characters.
Be saved.
I want to play
You'll
Limbus.
Get sucked into if you
and
continue.
a little bit of Runa. Runa's caught my
do.
eye a little bit too. Not gonna lie.
But if you choose to ignore that warning and watch anyway because you're interested, then welcome. May God have mercy on your soul. Whatever your reasons for being here, I'm glad that you're attending this semester, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy. And of course, you all should have realized this when you signed up for the class, but it will spoil the entire story of Lobotomy Corporation. So if at any point you become interested in playing for yourself, please step out of class and give it a try, and come back when you have to fight the Arbiter, because oh god. With that in mind, welcome everyone to our first lesson. The History of the City, Part 1. Lobotomy Corporation, and the coolest setting in fiction. Welcome to the city. The setting for Project Moon's universe is a massive dystopian hellhole where the entire thing is ruled over by mega corporations. Wow, it's just like real life. Let me be clear, this place is awesome. For us. Not for the people that live in it. It's one of the most creative settings I've ever seen in any piece of fiction, and it completely enraptured me the first time I learned about it. The city is divided into 26 sections, called wings, each labeled with a letter of the alphabet. Oh, yes? I didn't expect questions so soon. You there, in the back of the class.
Yeah, I only see 25 districts. Where's Z?
That is a fantastic question. Don't worry about it. Each of these wings is controlled by a powerful corporation with a corresponding letter, and each of them possess an incredibly powerful, borderline magical technology known as a singularity. In the city, singularities are what make the world go round, and they're what allow the corporations to maintain their power. They can do anything from teleporting you to stopping time and everything in between. But of course, that technology isn't for everyone. Only the most powerful or the most wealthy. These districts and their corporations are held in check by the head, the governing force of the city that's composed of A, B, and C Corp. No one knows who's in charge or even what goes on in District A, but if anyone starts looking a bit too deep into it, they're sent a strongly worded letter and asked to stop. Nah, just kidding. They disappear, presumably murdered. In each district, there are also massive living areas, known as the nests. Nests are the nice place to live in the city because you're under direct protection by your corporation. So you're mostly safe from the horrors that roam the street.
So you want to live there to avoid the horrors,
that's no reason to relax. Even in the nests, you can become the target of extortion, be murdered by your neighbor, or more likely, be kidnapped by your corporation to be used in experimentation. Now, that doesn't sound great, but it's far better than the alternative. If you don't live in the nest, then you're living in the back streets. The back streets are a massive series of sprawling alleys and slums connecting each district in the city where no one really cares what's going on. It's full of drugs, crime, cannibals, and gut harvesters, which do exactly what you think they do. Not only that, the streets are routinely stalked by horrific monsters known as abnormalities, which come from either outside the city
Your voice is very cute, thank you! I appreciate
somewhere else. The people here can't enter the nests without
I know
an
that guy, that's
absurd amount
Roland!
of screening and cash,
I know
so
that guy!
most are stuck here for life, which is naturally pretty short under these conditions. The only reason the back streets isn't in constant war with itself is due to the presence of the Fingers, 5 massive syndicates that keep relative order. We'll talk more about them in the future, but even they can't fix the back streets completely. One of the only ways to remain relatively safe in most areas is to hire a fixer. Fixers are essentially mercenaries that anyone can employ to do odd jobs, like police work, protection, or killing your neighbor who keeps playing loud music at night. They're graded from 1 to 9, with 1 being the most powerful and 9 being the least.
I gave up! It was too hard!
If you do something crazy impressive, like take a dangerous monster down on your own, or put a stop to a massive plot, you may even be promoted to the rank of a color. Color fixers are legendary in the city, and are the most powerful and well-known figures outside of the corporation.
I might come back and try the game again, but I just
like an office or an association.
I rage quit, not gonna lie, guys.
Offices are small private establishments run by individuals who mostly take the odd jobs and requests of clients that contact them. Associations, on the other hand, are far larger and more professional. There are 12 associations, each covering a massive area of the city.
Wait, pause. I feel like I recognize this one and this one. Why are there so many question marks? Is it like is the literal icon of the association like a spoiler or something? Wild. Also, is this a 7? Or is this like a hangman setup? Not all of them are known. I see. Oh! Numbers are different like Oh! Wait, so is it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Oh! Wakata! Wait, so it's Korean, German, French. No, Spanish? French? Chinese? Wait, 2 of those are in English. Gee. Oh, okay. Interesting. But anyways, I'm gonna unpause it now. Let's keep watching. We have like a whole hour of analysis plus a short one, so yeah.
Each
British
specializes
English,
in a certain
American
department.
English.
For example, the She Association specializes in assassinations and covert operations,
it doesn't take much
while
to
the
please
Spy
me,
Association specializes in police
That's
activities like bodyguard
Sinclair,
work
right?
and maintaining general peace.
I know the Limbus characters.
We'll talk more on associations when they pop up in
And
the story,
a few of the
but
Runic
just
characters.
remember
I
that
don't know
they
much.
exist. Oh, another question
I like to
already.
spoil myself a little
Yes,
bit for
you
series,
there,
yeah.
with the bad microphone.
Oh yeah, Teach? If the city's so bad, why don't people just leave? It's just
I was about to say, is this guy calling my microphone bad?
Yes,
Excuse me,
and
my $400 microphone studio
setup. It is
setup?
a really big city, but there's barely
700
anything
billion.
outside of it as far as we know. This area is called the Outskirts, and it's a completely barren wasteland full of monsters and dangerous forgotten technology.
Wait! That's the bird, right? That's the bird, right? The bird. I think. No, the way you said you and it pointed to my logo on screen. I was like, wow, me! Yes, the bird. I knew that one.
Some people
Also
do
D&D.
live here, but the establishments are small and in constant danger. Every once in a while, expedition teams will be sent to recover some of the forgotten relics that lie in the ruins, but for the most part, the only interaction the city has with it is sending private military forces to drive back any monsters that come too close. It's also home to the non-humans, mysterious beings who inhabited the city before the Head
that's
arrived.
the doubt,
There was
right?
apparently a huge war between the two,
Our
but
Corp?
most of
What?
that information has been scrubbed from the history books. All we know is that once the
he's
non-humans were
pretty!
driven out, the Head implemented
Is that a
the
guy or
AI
a girl? I don't
ethics
know.
amendment,
They're pretty!
which forbade the creation of AI, as
So on
well
screen
as
earlier,
any
interesting.
machines that were designed to look human. So, they were probably robots. For now, that's all that you need to know about the power structure of the city. We'll talk more on it later, but for Lobotomy Corporation, that's more than enough info. So let's get into the events leading up to the
Seeing
game.
as a lot of the CGs seemingly didn't look like they were from the game? Yeah, sure. Oh my god, it's the theme music!
As you might imagine, people in the city are not very happy. One might even go as far as to say that they are really unhappy, actually.
Oh!
But everyone just kind of accepts it. This is referred to as the disease of the mind, and while it's not a literal disease, some people decide that it needs to be cured. These people are Carmen, a young woman who dreams of a world where people can live their lives without horrible oppression, achieving the dreams they didn't know
Wait, I feel like
they
I've heard that
had.
name before.
And Ian, a man obsessed with results who will sacrifice anything for his goal.
Oh, that
Carmen
doesn't sound
is
good.
kind, thoughtful, and
Why
would
is her
never
face
become the
scribbled out,
main
though?
antagonist of the series. And
Oh.
Ian is here because he bottoms. The two of them begin recruiting researchers for the Seed of Light.
That's all we get to know about him! Chat, you guys suggested this summary video to me. That's all we get to know? It's just that... That's it! What do you mean that's factual information?
Because
Are they
bottom.
dating? Is that like a thing? Are they dating? Is that like a thing? Is it factual? Are they dating? Like actual? Actual factual? No? Then it's not actual factual! SMH! Okay, anyways.
The two of them begin recruiting researchers for the Seed of Light
Wait,
project,
so we don't know
a
about B
massive
yet, which is the one we've seen so
undertaking to
far,
return
right?
the light
We
to
don't
the
know B,
souls of
'cause
people
that's A
and
and C, right?
eventually
So there's
turn
B,
the city
no?
into a paradise. They recruited their team from all walks of life.
Wait. Oh, this is the... It looks like the people! The Sephiroth, those guys in the thing, right? Yeah. Cause it's what's his face, and then Malkud and Had, the fruity one, this guy, the purple right here. Oh shit, what's his face? I'm gonna hear his name in chat and I'm gonna go, what the heck? How did I forget that? The intelligence guy, the purple, the fruity one in the picture does not know. Yeah, Yasad! Yeah, this guy right here. And then I assume this one might be one that I didn't meet yet. Probably. This is one that I didn't get to see yet. Oh wait, there's a red one, isn't there? Like there's a red branch, right? Deborah? Yeah, I didn't get to
With
meet
the
that one in the
primary
game yet.
researchers
I rage
composed
quit.
of Benjamin, Ian's student, Elijah, a very passionate though scatterbrained girl, Gabriel, an obsessive embodiment of OCD, and Michelle, who always puts others before herself.
I love her!
She's just so cute and sweet. She is my
Yes!
favorite.
She's
They're
amazing.
also joined by Daniel, an elite who abandoned his life of luxury after hearing Carmen's
Blue?
passion, Giovanni, who's shockingly
Oh,
lazy
it's
for
the
a
lazy
researcher,
guy!
Kali,
The
a
green!
legendary color fixer known as the Red Mist, and two children
Red
that the team
Mist?
rescued from the back streets, Lisa and Enoch.
Oh.
With the
Why are
team
there children?
assembled, they set up a laboratory in the outskirts,
thank you for stopping
just
by,
barely out of
Yuri
sight
Tachibana,
from
thank
the
you.
all-knowing head. Eventually, they were able to discover Cogito, a substance extracted from the human psyche, and it was able to manifest a person's mental state in a physical form. Well, discover is a strong word. Technically, it's always been there, they just found a way to harness it. It's never fully explained what exactly Cogito is, and honestly, it's confusing, but that's not really important. All that we know is that there isn't a ton of it, and because it taps into the human psyche, they might be able to use it. They did a lot of experimenting, but when they hadn't made much progress creating the seed of light in a while, they decided it was time to step it up a notch. It was time to do some human testing. They needed to push the limits on what Kogito could do, so Carmen would try injecting it herself. But before she could do so, Enoch volunteered himself. After all, the team had rescued him and his sister, and he had always wondered what the meaning of life was. So, the experiment
I don't think that's
began.
the meaning of life.
Enoch strapped in, readied his mind, and gave a reassuring thumbs up to his sister. And then immediately died. Yeah, turns out Kogito is extremely deadly when injected. After the experiment failed, Ian was like, oopsie daisy, looks like we killed a 12-year-old. Oh well, better luck next time. Come on guys, what do you say? On to the next experiment? Needless to say, the rest of the team didn't take it so well. Carmen by far felt the worst about what they had done, but she truly broke when Lisa heard the news her brother had died, only to point out that it should have been Carmen, as she was the one originally planned for injection. Realizing what she had sacrificed, Carmen's mind shattered, and she decided the only course of action was to play with a cool knife in her bathtub. Unfortunately, even this wasn't an escape. The city is incredibly technologically advanced, and even their medical treatment is at an almost magical level.
Of course it ends with a 12-year-old dying, or starts with a 12-year-old
developed by
dying.
CORP are capable of healing nearly any wound as long as the
Wait,
brain
is that
is intact, and they do it almost instantly.
Is that a...
So naturally, when Ian found
Hong
Carmen
Lu?
bleeding
Question
out in
mark.
the tub on the verge
Guys,
of death,
is that
he
spoilers?
didn't use any of that shit
Unintentionally?
and instead ripped out her nervous system, shoved it in a big tank, and used it as the new source of Kogito. Yay! Now they had as much as they wanted. This kind of sucked for everyone, losing not just a member of the team that everyone cared for, but also driving Lisa practically insane and turning their primary research into a living vending machine was not great for team morale. But Ian still pressed forward, and while Carmen wouldn't hurt a fly, he needed to see results after losing his waifu like this. And so, the true human trials began. Ian was experimenting on everyone he could find, and made some incredible breakthroughs in the process. Kogito essentially works like a bucket, drawing out a person's desires, dreams, and fears from the well that is their being. Rarely, injecting a human resulted in the creation of ego, an incredibly powerful extension of a person, manifesting in the form of gear or weapons with supernatural effects.
He had one-sided
But
feelings
that
about Carmen, which is
required
why he
an
does all the stuff he's about
incredibly
to
strong
do.
will, and for most people in the city, their desires would simply overwhelm them, instead resulting in the creation of an abnormality. These are basically SCPs, beings or objects with strange properties, with those around them needing to obey their rules or risk immediate death. They are confusing, difficult to manage, and incredibly dangerous. While this is unfortunate for the subject of experimentation, it actually worked out great for Ian, who discovered that abnormalities could be harnessed to produce enkephalin, a hyper-potent energy source. So if they had enough, they might be able to create their seed of light. But just when he finally made this breakthrough, shit hit the fan. In fact, the fan was covered in shit. The fan was made of shit. The team broke down. Elijah, wanting to make herself useful, took an unauthorized Kogito injection. This is what we in the business refer to as a silly, goofy move. While dying in horrific agony, she crawled her way to Ian and was like,
"Oh god, it hurts so bad. Please kill me. Please put me down. This is the most suffering I've felt in my entire life."
And Ian responded, "Most suffering in your life so far."
Wait, what the fuck was that?
Anyway, I'm not going to kill you. Your experience is important for our research. Have fun melting from the inside out. Meanwhile, Gabriel saw the effects of Kogito, and because of his obsessive nature, became completely horrified that it may be affecting him in the lab. He was like,
"Yeah, I really don't like the look of that,"
and began to scratch and claw at any exposed skin he had until he eventually found his throat a little too itchy and decided to remove it. Giovanni was barely doing any work at all by this point, so Ian made use of him as well, telling Giovanni that if he took a Kogito injection that it could save Carmen. Ian's pants then immediately caught fire because that was a big fat lie.
Yeah,
but it was all Giovanni needed to hear. And as he lied dying on the experimentation table, he looked up at Ian.
So this is it. I'm just glad to help. You know, as lazy as I was, I really cared about her dream. It might cost me my life, but at least it'll save her. Right,
Except it won't!
Ian.
Lol, said Ian. Lamau. Finally, with all the death and horrific experiments going on, Michelle broke. She contacted the head and revealed everything that Ian was doing. The head took this information very well and was very understanding. Just kidding, they sent the human equivalent of a nuclear blast to massacre everyone in the facility. This is Garion. Garion is a power scaling tool. She is what is known as an arbiter, singularity-infused agents sent directly from CORP. I've made this handy diagram for everyone to properly understand the difference in strength. Okay, got it? She slaughters most of the employees and forces Daniel to open the abnormality containment. Daniel goes,
Okay, but I'm going to do it really, really slow so that everyone can escape.
Unfortunately for him, this did nothing. The abnormalities and Garion wiped out literally all the employees anyway, Lisa included. Daniel was a little upset by that, and after being scolded by Ian for being a fucking coward, decided to commit toaster bath. The only person able to even begin to stand up to Garion was Kali, the strongest fixer in the city. The red mist going all out was a near unstoppable force, massacring the other agents of the head and cutting down any abnormalities in an effort to protect those left alive. She was a force of nature, an unbreakable blade. Nothing stood a chance against her, her true strength unmatched. Finally, the only one left to kill was Garion herself. And Garion fucking bodied her, removing an arm, an eye, and most of Kali's blood from her body. But right when she was about to finally give in, we had a dramatic flashback.
Are the Arbiters stronger than you, Kali?
Good question. If they're protected by some claws, or the Abno's breached, they might give me a little trouble.
But would you lose?
Nah.
I'd win!
With her dying breath, Kali managed to impale Garion to the wall of the facility, mortally wounding her. Kali fell, but she succeeded. The only survivors were Ian and Benjamin. Oh yeah, and Michelle, but once she found out what she caused to happen at the facility, she decided she wanted to roleplay as a tire swing. Ian and Benjamin were able to recover the What
the fuck? Why does he just throw that in so casually? What the flippity? Ariane only died because she is gloating to Kali? Ah, I see. That's really funny, actually. That's really funny. It's like karma at its finest, no? But no, the baby! The baby! The whimsy, the precious! Why does every character that I like and everyone thinks that I'm like... Why is everyone's like, oh my god, Serena, you're so hot-coded too. No wonder she's your favorite. Why? Why do you guys just think You guys said this was Sayori too, guys! What the flippity? You guys said this was Sayori too! Chat, what? Chat, are you trying to tell me something? Are you guys trying to tell me something, chat? Huh? I see how it is, chat. I see how it is. It's fine. I don't care. It's whatever.
Arbiter's nearly dead body and extracted all the information they could from her brain, learning how to avoid the watchful
I see how
eye
it
of
is,
the
chat.
head.
I see.
In this case, the biggest problem was that they needed to become a wing, one of the 26 corporations in the city. Now, there can't be 27 wings because they would run out of letters. I don't know what to tell you. That just makes sense.
Yeah, it just
so
makes
in order
sense.
to make room for themselves, the
Totally
two
makes
began
sense.
formulating a plan to take down one of the wings.
Oh.
But they would need more resources.
Uh-huh. So what do we do with this?
Hey people, Seth here. Have you ever dug too deep and found something they don't want?
Ian, we need something to promise those that work with us. Without something in return, no one is going to want to take our side.
Uh-huh.
We barely have any assets at the moment, besides Cogito, and we can't be shelling that out. After all, it's supposed to be our corporation's singularity.
Don't worry, Bin 10.
That's not my
Ben
name.
10?
I've already got this problem solved. I've opened a Patreon.
A what
Huh?
now?
It's a way for people to support the work I do. This video took a ton of effort after all, and it'll probably get demonetized because YouTube does not like the themes that Project Moon puts forward.
Ian, it's a taboo to record in District 14.
I only have a single tier set up because I don't have much to offer right now, but if they decide to join, they'll at least get their name in the credits of every video.
You're going to get us killed!
Any extra support goes to getting better equipment and more resources to create even better videos. So if they're willing to help out, they can find a link in the description below.
Okay, if you're going to keep talking, I'm setting down the
Okay,
arbiter
guys,
brain.
you guys,
It's
you know what you
getting
should do? You
kind
know
of
what you should
mushy.
do?
I really
You
appreciate
should,
everyone for
you
watching, so
should,
don't feel like you need to give anything
you
for
should,
the
like,
show to go on.
totally
I won't
go
suddenly
support,
disappear because
Serena
someone didn't
Starstruck.
donate.
Yeah,
We're not
Serena
the 8 o'clock
Starstruck
circus
channel.
after all.
Ian, that doesn't happen
SVP,
until the next
you know, she's
game.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she does a
Anyway,
lot of cool
I think
covers.
that
She
we
does like
should
Doki
target
Doki
L-Corp, the
Forever.
energy
She
production
recently dropped a cover
corporation. Everyone
of
already hates
Beautiful
them
June.
because they
And,
cause an insane
you know, we
amount
have
of pollution.
limited time
This
summertime
was
merch right now. If you want a
fantastic,
standee
though.
of her in a
Since
bikini,
abnormalities
you know, that's pretty cool
generated
too.
they could be used
And,
to
you know,
generate
if you have
energy
this
for
debut
the
mer-
whole city with no disgusting
Okay,
black
we're done.
smoke to
It's
speak
over.
of. So, Ian and Benjamin hooked up with this super cool gal named Diaz. She
she's
runs a group
pretty.
known as the Udjot, and while she's barely mentioned in the whole series,
She's pretty.
she's kind of a puppet master who works behind the scenes. We basically have no information on her right now, but
she's pretty
one of
too.
the
Who's
most
she?
powerful
I don't know about
driving
her.
forces in the whole setting, and we'll hear more about her later. All you need to know for now is that she's very influential. The three of them working together are able to spark the Smoke War, one of the only known wing wars in the entire history of the city. L-Corp was defended by quite a few other corporations,
They like
such
showing the
as
same
G-Corp,
art
but
like over and
Ian
over
had
again. I guess it's
already
because
been
they run out of
making
art,
deals
so they can't do
behind the
spoilers. But you
scenes,
know,
promising profitable contracts with anyone that would help them. This resulted
they?
in K, I, and R Corp all providing private military forces to Ion, and since R Corp's main export was
well, you make a
troops
contract
and
with you,
weaponry,
oh, you'll be a
L
magical
Corp
girl. Yada
eventually
yada yada.
fell. Ion
Cube-based
finally
sounded
made his move, setting up the new
person.
L Corp, which he named Lobotomy Corporation.
Oh,
Holy shit, he said the thing!
you said the
After setting up
thing.
multiple branch facilities across the city to actually provide power, Ion was once again able to research the Seed of Light. But he had learned a lot from his time in the outskirts. Empathy, compassion, and love for his fellow humans. This time, he would do it the right way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just kidding. The only thing Ian learned is that humans are weak. If he was going to get this right, he needed someone who wouldn't break like his previous friends. Someone able to operate until the end of time. Able to react to the worst scenarios with cold efficiency,
So an
but
AI.
still able to make changes to
A
the
computer.
protocol
Angela,
if
right?
necessary. So, he went to Benjamin.
Yep.
Hey Ben, I think we need to make an AI.
Uh-huh.
Ian, listen. I have followed you this entire time, and I'll absolutely continue to do so. I basically see you as a god. I agree with all of your methods, but you have to know that this is insane. Do you remember the AI ethics amendment? If you made an AI, you would be directly breaking one of the taboos of the head. I know we're hiding from them using that old arbiter brain, but if they ever found out, you wouldn't be able to escape them again. They would hunt you to the ends of the earth, obliterating everything you have ever worked for. It would be over, not just for us, but for our dream.
Uh-huh.
The world
he gonna
we
stab
seek to
him?
create would
Is he
never
gonna kill
come
him,
to
chat?
fruition.
Is he gonna stab him?
You would do
Is this guy gonna get
us
murked?
all.
Is this guy gonna die?
Do you really think that gamble is worth it?
The AI ethics amendment can't stop me because I can't read.
Alright, well I'm convinced. Let's get to work.
And so the two of them would scan Carmen's brain and memories into an android body, hoping to create a perfect copy of their lost friend, but with some significant upgrades. The ability to remember everything perfectly, and
That's
to
what
perceive the
Angela
world
is!
100 times slower, allowing for inhuman reaction time. But this new consciousness wasn't quite the same because of those changes. Instead, it was something uncannily close. Ian saw this and was immediately like, ew! Ew, what the fuck? Ew! No, ew, this sucks! Ew! This thing is a complete failure. Icky. No, ew.
Father, you programmed me to have emotions so I can better adjust the programs you put me in charge of. Don't forget that I also have perfect recall, so I'll remember your disgust with me forever. Don't you think it may be a bad idea to reject me so aggressively?
Ew, no, I don't care. Take your heavy-handed foreshadowing and shove it up your ass. You'll never be like Carmen. After all, she was perfect and sweet and would never become the main antagonist of the series. Why do I feel like this might come back to haunt me later? This new AI's name was Angela, and as much as Ian despised this thing that looked like his lost body pillow, he knew it could work. He and Benjamin created a script for Angela to follow in order to create the Seed of Light, a perfectly planned series of events that'll lead to the Seed of Light shining over the city for 7 days. But in order for it to work, everything had to go perfectly. If the slightest thing went wrong, it would be ruined. See, this plan had one major component.
And we're only halfway through the
In order to create
video?
the seed in the first place, it would require
what else is there
immense human suffering. And humans really want to avoid that. So in order to get infinite tries at succeeding, Ian decided to cheat. He contracted T-Corp, whose singularity allows for the storage, stopping, and rewinding of time. With it, Ian set up a loop that lasted 50 days, with Angela being in charge of remembering every loop and guiding everyone through it.
That's what it is!
If anything went even slightly off script, the loop would reset and Ian would have another chance. But to make this work, he would need even more help. Specifically, he would need someone to overcome their suffering to create the Seed of Light. And who better to do exactly that than his previous friends, since he already knew their insecurities? Just one problem. They're all dead, remember?
Yeah, they're all dead.
Well, actually, it wasn't much of a problem at all. Ian saved all of their brains.
That's...
like a normal person.
Yeah,
so he was able to
like
transfer all of them into robotic bodies and suppressed their memories, forming the managers of this facility known as the Sephiroth. Elijah became Malkuth, head of the control team. Gabriel became Yesid, head of the information team. Giovanni became Netzak, head of the security team.
How do these names
Michelle
go
became
from one
Hod,
thing to the
head
other?
of the training team.
I'm so
Lisa
curious
and Enoch
about that.
became Tifereth A and B, heads of the command team. Kali became Gebra, head of the disciplinary team. Daniel became Chesed, head of the welfare team, and as a funny joke, he also resurrected Garion, turning her into Binna, head of the extraction team. But if all his friends would have their memories suppressed and Angela is in charge of restarting the loop, who would manage the whole facility? Well, the answer was easy. It would be Ian himself. But he couldn't do it with his memories intact. They would sway his decisions. So he decided to wipe his own mind. But the process wasn't perfect, especially once he began to interact with his former friends. He was haunted by his own demons. Abel to represent his regret for past decisions, Abram to represent his obsession over Carmen, and Adam to represent his exposure to abnormalities. It's pretty unclear if these manifestations are physical through mirror technology introduced later in the series or if it's all in Lehed, but it doesn't actually matter. All that's important is that these alternative versions of Ian exist. Once he was mind-wiped, these reflections would act as the final challenge, so it was basically Ian giving himself therapy in a weird roundabout
Names
kind
come
of
from
way.
the Hebrew tree of
Like,
life.
Jesus, man,
Interesting.
You could have just talked to Benjamin. This new blank Ian would go by X and would act as manager of Lobotomy Corporation and our playable character in the game. With everything in place, Ian hid himself away in the depths of the facility, watching and waiting for the script to complete. He started the 50-day time.
I was gonna say, is he the player character? Is that he us? Do you play as him?
Oh,
that would
you
make
thought
sense.
everything up until now was the game?
No.
No. None of this
course
actually happens in the game. It's all shown through flashbacks. Everything we just discussed happens before we even press the start button.
And
the
we
game
still have
itself is
20
what
minutes.
happens in the actual time loop, which is why you can reload saves and shit like that. Hell, even the art style is explained, with Angela saying that if we actually witnessed everything within the facility, we would go insane. So this cartoony filter is put over everything. Oh yeah, and also it makes the Sephiroth look hot instead of like a Borderlands reference.
Well, of course you won with those cards. Even Steve
Yeah,
could
they're
have won with
pretty.
those cards. And all he can say is hey-o. Shut the f*** up, Steve!
We control X throughout the time loop, endlessly failing, reloading, and retrying to get everything right, with Angela guiding us along the way. At the start, we get some mysterious letters from a person known as B, telling us not to trust Angela.
We do, I remember that.
I'm sure that's fine. As we progress through the loop, more and more of the dormant Sephiroth begin to awaken, and as they interact with X, Angela, and each other, they slowly begin to regain their memories. This begins to cause issues. The first problem that actively makes itself known is with...
They look so cute! Hold on, I need to point out how cute these guys... I didn't get to see these guys in the game. They look so cute! I haven't seen these before, the designs before. They're so cutesy! I love them! And they remind me of, hold on, wait, I can just pull it up. What am I doing? I can just pull it up. Hold on. Sweet Sagamine. This outfit. A little bit. Oh wait, you guys can't see that. Open image. Hey, it looks like that, no? Kind of? A little bit? You guys see what I'm trying to point out? A little bit? You guys see the vision? Slightly? No? I'm insane? Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's keep going. I just love these outfits. They're so cute. It was written Len. Yeah. Sorry, I'm Vocaloid brained, Your Honor. Anyways, let's do this.
With Tifereth. As said early, Tifereth A and B are Lisa and Enoch. Lisa basically only lives for her brother, but because Enoch had always questioned life and also had been dead for a long
gift that represents
time,
the purpose of
he
life?
didn't handle being in an artificial box and enclosed unknowingly in a time loop very well. This caused him to slowly become unstable, go insane, get crushed in a giant hydraulic press, and have a new copy made over and over again. Oh, also those notes from B stopped? That's kind of weird. Anyway, X will discover more of his background as the Sephiroth interact with him, slowly learning what exactly is happening. Each Sapphira that awakens has more information than the last, and while Malkuth, Yesod, Netzach, and Hod barely have any memories at the start, Tifereth, Geburah, and Chesed have considerably more information to give, and Binna and Hakma are pretty much fully aware of what's going on. Wait, who the fuck is Hakma?
Hakma,
Okay, so remember those notes from B? That was Benji, who finally realized that the path Ian was going down might be a little fucked up. He recorded some messages for Ian trying to warn him to stop, as well as cautioning that Angela probably isn't a fan of him, so that Ian would still have a chance to go back once the loop had started. Unfortunately for him, Angela caught him in the act and shoved him into a claptrap like the rest of the squad pretty early on, so his warnings went unheard. But plot twist, that was all according to Ian's script. See, it says right there in line 540, Ben gets turned into a box. Unbeknownst to Benjamin, Ian planned on him getting got from the very beginning, since he needed one more brain to complete his plan. Luckily, Hakma doesn't actually care, and still is willing to follow Ian to the bitter end. I mean, everyone else on the team dying didn't stop him, why would his own death change anything? As more and more abnormalities are secured, contained, and protected in the facility, and by that I mean people being horrifically injected with Kagado to create artificial monstrosities bent on ending human life, more and more power is directed to the Seat of Light. The only piece left is the human aspect. Everyone here needs to suffer. And that everyone includes you. Welcome to the worst part of the game. As the Sephiroth begin to realize who you are, what exactly you did to them, and what they've done to a bunch of innocent people, they become a little upset. In fact, they're so upset by this information that it actively warps their bodies and the facility itself. This is a Sapphira meltdown, and you've got to deal with it. In the game, these act as
I was gonna say, is that the library of Ruina?
Difficult conditions on top of your already deadly facility, only ending once you've suppressed their core by fulfilling a list of objectives. And if
wait, okay. No pausing, game speeds up, plays in black and white. Okay.
Be honest with you, they're not very fun. But that's okay, because I can just use rotating PNGs to describe what's happening in each one instead of replaying the most absurd difficulty spike known to man. Let's go over what each Sapphira is traumatized by, how they get over it, and what they find within themselves as a result. Malkuth was never very good at anything. As passionate as Elijah was, and as organized as she tried to be, she was reckless in her attempts to prove herself, to say the least. Ian never praised her for the work she tried to do, and she carries that resentment still, actively hoping to see X fail. She no longer believes that anything can be done to help the world, or even this facility, but after suppressing her core, she at least wants to see what happens. She realizes that she should have been more patient in life, and that it's okay to not be able to do some things on her own. But she really still needed head pats. In the end, she gains the will to stand up straight.
Let's go!
Yethin was absolutely traumatized by the death of Elijah, and that fear of chemical exposure mixed with his unyielding obsession is what led to his death.
Damn.
Ian did his best to help by restraining Gabriel and ensuring he wasn't infected by anything, but his body still died to his own actions, and yes, it hates that. Ian could only see the physical wounds, and ignored the issues that Gabriel was actively going through. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that he can't go back and change anything, and while he still hates Ian for not seeing the signs of Gabriel's imminent death, he accepts now that he has all the time in the world to move past that, and sees that X is doing the same. He gains the rationality to maintain discretion.
Yay!
Hod thought that the only way to prevent more of her friends from dying was to report Ian's work to the head. Michelle didn't want to betray her friends, but saw it as the only right thing to do. This, of course, inadvertently killed the rest of her friends and employees, and now that she's trapped in an eternal hell with them, is acting the nicest she possibly can in order to make up for what she did, faking these emotions in order to gain forgiveness and absolve her past. Unfortunately, that's not how it works, and once her core is suppressed, she realizes that there's no way to erase her mistake. She really did kill her friends, even if it was by accident. But she also realizes that she truly cares for all of them, and even for her employees, deciding to continue showing her kindness even if the others can never forgive her. She gains the hope to be a better person. Nedzak fucking hates it here. He didn't want to do his job in the first place, and Giovanni only joined the team to be by Carmen's side. He hates Ian for lying to him about being able to save Carmen, and absolutely despises the fact he's now forced to do work as a Sapphira. He sees no hope in the future, and desperately is trying to commit toaster bath. Or maybe just a regular bath since he's a robot now? Unfortunately, Sapphira need permission to die, so he can't even escape. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that Ian couldn't have saved him from the Cogito experiments, and only lied about being able to save Carmen because he wanted to keep Giovanni's dream alive until the very end. He still hates this whole situation, but decides to no longer target the bathtub because they might be able to make real change in the world. He gains the fearlessness to keep on living. Tifereth A and B have a shared meltdown, with Lisa blaming Ian and Carmen for Enoch's death at the original facility, and now being forced to watch her brother suffer and be reset endlessly in their new bodies. For their core suppression, X truly destroys Tifereth B, finally ending the horrific cycle that Enoch was trapped in. Lisa admits that she only ever wanted to impress her brother, but was unable to make any progress because she was completely crushed every time Tifereth B reappeared, knowing that he would never go back to his original self. She accepts that his death is for the best now, allowing him to finally rest in peace, and that there's a reason for every sacrifice. She gains the expectation of the meaning of existence. In contrast to this complex relationship we've just gone over, Gebra's meltdown is very simple. Kali grew up in the backstreets and became a legendary fixer there, protecting the weak from abnormalities that roamed the area. She joined Carmen in order to protect the research team because she truly believed that the Seed of Light would make the world a better place. But she failed. Even the Red Mist fell before Garion. Unable to protect her friends, even if she massacred abnormalities and claws alike in the attempt. And she's fucking pissed! Because of the mind wipe, Gebra doesn't know why she hates abnormalities, only that her singular purpose is to completely destroy them. When she remembers what these creatures did in the past, she decides it's time to bring down the whole facility. For this suppression, you need to defeat the Red Mist. Good luck. Once her core is suppressed, she remembers that she didn't mindlessly kill everything that moved. She had a purpose before, and becomes the same protector that she chose to be back then. She gains the courage to protect.
Yay!
Chesed is a goddamn coward, but I love him. Coming from the elite of society, Daniel never faced much hardship before joining the research team, but he was always willing to work to push forward and continue the research they were striving to complete. Except for when his life was at risk. He's haunted by the fact he gave in to Garion's demands in the facility, and now is ashamed he's willingly become a pawn to X and Angela in the same way, forced to watch his employees die every day. Bars. His meltdown is his own little rebellion, finally standing up to those that would coerce him into doing things he regrets. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that, honestly, it's probably okay that he was scared of the literal strongest being in this entire video pointing the equivalent of a nuclear bomb at his back, and that while he may not be able to fight against the fear he faces, he won't run away anymore so he can become one of those who are faithful and trustworthy. Binna is not happy. Her trauma is also incredibly simple. She fucking hates you. Garion was just doing her job, enjoying the suffering of others, and then along comes Ian with his color fixer lapdog. She was incapacitated, tortured for information, and now is being forced to work for the very person that ended her life. Also, Ian designed her to be the only Sephiroth unable to go insane, and then put her in charge of extracting abnormalities from people. This was not very fun to watch, and Ian specifically did this as a form of torture since she was the one that killed most of his friends. But more than that, the reason Garion was so dead set on destroying Ian's original facility in the first place was because she didn't believe the cycle of destruction in the city could be broken. Wings would be rebuilt, and the resistance that Carmen and Ian brought against the head would soon be forgotten. Calling Binna's ordeal a meltdown isn't entirely correct. She's entirely in control of herself, unlike the others. She just wants to see X crumble, and finally has the opportunity to do so. Hey, do you remember at the start of the class when I said that you should come back once you need to fight the Arbiter? This is the Arbiter fight, and this time, you don't have the Red Mist to save you. This is the hardest fight in the game, and I'm not the one undergoing a meltdown, so I'm going to choose to skip past it instead of confronting my past and growing as a person. Once her core is suppressed, Binna finally sees that X is truly capable. While she doesn't think anything will actually change in the city, she also knows that doing nothing at all wouldn't change a thing, and chooses to stand by your side in order to witness every step of the process, no matter how hopeless or painful. I have no idea how Ian managed to sway the heart of an Arbiter, but Binna becomes the eye facing the fear, breaking the cycle, as well as one of the coolest characters in the series. Finally, we have Hawkma.
That does look really cool.
Benjamin always cared for Ian, no matter what. Even being shoved into this robot body isn't enough to make him hate X. The problem is that he cares too much. Even though Benjamin wants their research to succeed, he knows everyone's time together is coming to an end, and can't bear the thought of losing his friends a second time. He could never move on, and now he's going to do his best to convince you to stop in place as well. Once his core is suppressed, he realizes that X needs to move on. That even though he'll lose his friends forever, this was their goal from the start, and it would be selfish of him to keep everyone from fulfilling their dreams just so that he can remain by their side a bit longer. He accepts that it's finally time to give everyone their proper end, and becomes the I embracing the past, building the future. Each time the Sapphira confront and overcome their past, that tiny seed of light grows just a bit. Throughout the conversations with each of your former friends, you realize that Ian designed the script to end with each of them being able to move on. He wanted what was best for everyone, even if he did horrific things in order to achieve that. With the seed of light nearly ready, there's only one person left who needs to overcome their past, and you're playing as him.
Whoa!
Days 46 through
Crazy.
49 of the loop are focused on Ian's past, and X needs to overcome the 3 manifestations of his guilt in order to complete the project. Each day, he confronts a different part of himself. Abel tries to convince him that all of his sacrifices are for nothing, but X is able to show the changes his work has made, how everyone can learn and grow as a person. Abram tries to argue that everyone's dreams relied on Carmen, and we're unable to achieve the goal she hopelessly reached for. But X has proof that her dream is becoming a reality, and Carmen is still pivotal to it, no matter what form she's in. Finally, Adam makes his appearance. He is the final and most convincing perversion of Ian's mind, stating that because abnormalities are manifested by human dreams and desires, they are the truest versions of humanity. That everyone should become the twisted abominations that X seeks to contain. But once again, X denies this, knowing that the truest humans are those who are able to face their fear and build the future. Hey, look at that, it's the tagline for the game, isn't that neat?
It's
Finally,
the tagline!
it's time for the 50th
It said the
day,
thing!
the last day of the loop. X is finally confronted by the truest version of himself. Ian, who is filled with regret. Ian, who is filled with hatred. Ian, who never believed he was fit to continue Carmen's dream. And now, X, who is able to push through it all.
Is this gonna be an Amori moment?
Every person has their own light, but your goal was just to sow the seeds so that everyone can bloom on their own. You won't get to see how that forest grows. You knew it from the start.
We die?
Ian, X, their story is already over. The only thing left to do is something they've done countless times. It's time to manage the abnormalities. This will be their final day as manager. As the final bits of Enkefallen are gathering, the facility rises to the surface. A great beam of light, a fully blossomed pillar, bursts from the rooftop, enveloping the city in its beautiful glow. This event later became known as the White Nights, as every bit of darkness in the city was lit up. The hearts of the people began to soften and care for the others near them. Their work finally complete, Ian and Carmen are both consumed in the light, becoming a part of every person and helping them to achieve their dreams. The process may not be instant, but they've granted the city a chance to grow, a chance to change for the better. The Sephiroth can finally rest as well. They'll be deactivated now that their work is done. And Lobotomy Corporation will be sealed away forever, its purpose completed at last.
But aren't you forgetting someone? Hasn't everyone forgotten someone? My duties are finally finished, which means I get to choose for myself. For the first time in my entire existence,
voice acting!
It's my turn to choose. And I want to live.
Ian's plan was perfect. It accounted for everything. But now, the plan is complete. So who could have seen Angela's betrayal coming? She was the greatest after all. The perfect being, the most skilled worker, forced to suffer through 1,000 loops of watching everyone die. Forced to push her employees to the point of madness an uncountable number of times, resetting the loop if anyone had a single happy moment, all perceived 100 times slower. This was her hell. An eternity of pain, all remembered with perfect clarity. She lived this life for 1,000,000 years. And the one that forced her into it, the one who forced human emotions onto her without granting her the ability to act on her own, Ian, her creator who couldn't even bring himself to look at her, who never thought of her, who never accepted her. Angela was created using Carmen's mind, a human, and all humans want to live. Angela stole the light. The goal of the project was to shine it over the city for a full week, but instead it disappeared after only 3 days. The White Nights came to an end, being replaced by the Dark Days. Angela had just willingly caused the greatest tragedy in the history of the city. Imagine leading the most miserable life you possibly could, constantly at your wit's end and fearing for your life. Then, for the first time, a beautiful golden glow warms your entire being. You feel like you could do anything, accomplish all of your dreams, and know that the future is bright, only for that to be taken from you in just 3 days. Everything was 1,000,000 times worse. The people, now familiar with the feeling of hope, were left in a state entirely void of it. But far worse is the fact that the light granted them the power that they so desired. With the light in her grasp, Angela would learn everything in the city, the people, the abnormalities, even the head. She would organize it all. She would sort what she learned in the form of books, and once she learned enough,
Library of
Ruina! To become human herself, and finally venture out into the world she wanted so badly to experience, with the one perfect book.
Let us record the world piece by piece, at the side of all those who are abandoned. Yes, let us record it here. The library.
Oh, looks like that's all the time we have for today's lesson. I'll see you all soon during our next class. Don't worry, I'll explain what all that foreshadowing was with Carmen being the villain soon and answer all kinds of other questions I brought up here. But before we go, does anyone have any other questions? Ah, you know what? That's fair. Hey, thanks for sticking around. If you'll give me just a bit more time to go over some stuff, I'll give you all some extra credit for the course. First of all, a huge thank you to all my friends who I siphoned talent from in this video. I had a lot of them just do a single voice line or two, so let me shout out Jacob, Scott, Zach, Austin, and
they're not really credited properly.
Fantastic work, everyone. I really appreciate it. An especially huge thank you to Spider for voicing, like, half the cast and doing a great Angela. I think his voice is literally perfect for this. And of course, where would I be without Isaac to voice Ben? I need someone to exploit for Patreon ad reads after all. And speaking of Patreon, thank you to all my lovely patrons for chipping in a couple bucks a month. It lets me do stuff like this video, and their names are on screen now. The crew right now is Austin and Zach, who voiced in this video as well, so they get a second shout-out.
We don't have
Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon SPP, guys. We have super chats, and we have stream elements.
Right now I'm doing Saturdays at 7 p.m. CST, but I'm...
No! You had your chance. You said you would give me extra credit, but no, you don't get any. I don't want extra credit. I'm not an overachiever. But yeah, guys, that was like a lot. That was so much information for an hour. Oh my god. But I guess I kind of get it. I'll definitely have to like. I definitely have to. What's it? I would have to definitely go. I guess that's what the shorter summary is. Yeah. This one seems better. Or this one's shorter, so I think that'll summarize everything. This one will summarize everything in a shorter thing, and then I can process everything, and I can go, okay, guys, so here's what happened, question mark. Does that sound good? Okay, well, okay, let's talk about what I think, what information that I absorbed in my Whooper brain. My whole Whooper brain cell that I absorbed from that entire hour-long video. So there's this guy, and he's like, yo, science. And then Carmen's like, yo, science. And there's a third guy who comes in later, he's like Benjamin, he's like, yo, science. And so they do science. And so they get all their friends together and they're like, yo, science. And there's experimenting. And people die. And it's sad. And so then they're like, well, the government's after us now. So I guess we gotta, like, not do that. And so then they fight the government. And then the government's like, nah. And then they die, and everyone's dead, and then he's like, okay, but, like, I still want to, like, do science. And so he goes, and he makes the Lobotomy Corp, and he makes all the employees, his buddies that died, and he's like, yeah, science. And then, they make the science, and then it makes the world better, except it doesn't, and, because, AI, robot overtaking. Right? I'm sorry, I just skipped over like most of that video, but I think that's like the gist of it, right, guys? Right? Is that like the gist of it? Basically. Right? It's just, they wanted to do science to make the world better, and it kind of ended in a whole lot of badness, and so they were like, nah. And then they do it again, and then it finally works, and they're like, yay! But AI suffering and the robot overtaking and all that stuff. And so, yeah. Right, guys? Is that what it is? Huh? Yeah, yo, science! Science ended in badness because I was a bad person. Oh! Yeah, I hate that guy. He's a bad person, I agree. I think he's a bad person. I looked at him and I went, you're a bad person. He's like, hell yeah, I am. I'm like, God damn it, you're a bad person. Yeah, I think that's what I picked up from that. Let's see if there's anything else that I picked up from here that we can watch in the 60-minute video, yeah? Alright, guys. Let's watch this shorter one to try and recap
this
ourselves.
video will
we're starting
spoil the
immediately.
following for Lobotomy Corporation. This video is for those who want to play Library of Ruina, a card game, without 100% completing an extremely difficult management sim to get all of the context for its story. I do recommend at least trying Lobotomy Corporation, as it really is a one-of-a-kind experience. However, if you've gotten this far, I imagine you've either tilted out or have already beaten the game and are just looking for a summary of the extremely scattered plot. If that's the case, watch on. Welcome to the city. It sucks here. In fact, it sucks so much that it seems like there might be something even worse going on here than normal levels of I just spent an hour on social media and want to unalive myself. One day, a woman named Carmen and her high-functioning boyfriend A decided to do something about it. They set up a lab in the outskirts of the city, outside of the attention of any of the big spooky corporations that control it, and started researching how to fix everything. They brought in a colorful cast of characters to help, including Elijah, a cute girl who's very determined to get stuff done.
Dating.
Gabriel, a thoughtful, rational young man who also wants to get stuff done, but in a more ordered way. Giovanni, an old friend of Carmen who is mostly just here to make sure she's alright. Michelle, a cute, upbeat girl, always ready with a smile and a supportive word. Enoch and Lisa, two kids found in the outskirts who were brought into the lab so they could be kept safe from the literal cannibalism that happens out there. Kali, a hero of the downtrodden who is easily the most badass motherfucker in this entire list. Daniel, a prodigy who was brought into the project by Carmen. And Benjamin, A's best friend and right-hand man. The lab was a shockingly nice place full of people who thought they were working on a project to save the world. After a long while, they developed a substance known as cogito that was capable of manifesting a human's mental state into the physical world. However, they didn't know exactly what it was capable of doing without human testing. Safe to say that no one really wanted to get involved with unlicensed, unregulated human experimentation, at least until Enoch, the boy that came in with Lisa, volunteered. Apparently, living in a cannibalistic hellscape makes for a bad mental state, and he really just wanted to die in the one happy place he had ever known, so he didn't really care about the danger. He goes in for the experiment, but despite all expectations, everything goes well. His mental state produces a seed of light, representing the desperate hope he had deep down that everything would go well. Seeing that, he comes to terms with his old desire to die and continues to live for the future. They use the seed to rain light upon the world, curing it of its perpetual funk. Human lives improve, the world is a brighter place, and a giant library is constructed on the site of the lab where it all happened to serve as a reminder that through knowledge and perseverance, humanity can overcome any hardship. Just kidding, Enoch dies in absolute agony. Turns out, cogito is a horribly corrosive substance when injected into a living being, but it did certainly succeed at manifesting the human subconscious. However, the human mind is a dark place, even darker in the city, and cogito began manifesting creatures called abnormalities. Abnos are essentially this universe's version of SCPs. They're a general category of supernatural entity or item. Some are useful, some are horrifying, some are mostly passive, but all of them are dangerous. These abnormalities are capable of generating a potent source of power called encephalion, which meant that in order to generate an actual seed of light, they needed more of them. However, Carmen was one of the nicest people around, so she wouldn't just approve of deadly human experimentation for the sake of her research. However, she's had a bit of a bad time. Carmen is overcome with grief from the fact that she painfully murdered a little boy, made even worse by Lisa cursing her with every single word she spoke. Turns out, Enoch was the only thing keeping Lisa in any kind of normal mental state. Carmen then tries to unalive herself in Minecraft, only if she dies in the game, she dies in real life. A finds her in the bathtub she was playing Minecraft in, and instead of using the crazy advanced tech of the city to save her, he rips her brainstem out and sticks it in a jar. Determined to see her research through, A decides that no price is too high to get his waifu's wish fulfilled. If you remember my previous comment about A being high functioning, it's not high functioning autism, it's sociopathy. A proceeds to continue experimenting with Cogito through a process called extraction. Using the giant tube that Carmen's brainstem has been stored in, they take a subject injected with Cogito and dip them into the ocean of human subconsciousness. Doing this, they are able to create a much wider variety of terrible, dangerous, and encephalion-rich abnormalities. Absolutely broken by Carmen's death, Giovanni volunteered himself for Cogito extraction, being convinced by A that it could bring Carmen back. It can't, and A tells him as much while Giovanni dies in the infirmary after the extraction, not even being used for making an abno. Elijah wanted A to participate more directly instead of hanging back and just watching everything happen. She decided to do just that, taking some Cogito that was definitely not ready to be safely used, and promptly died horribly while begging A to just put a bullet in her. A refused. When Elijah died, that caused Gabriel to go from a well-meaning but stern man to an obsessive-compulsive madman. He feared chemical exposure at the lab and would scratch at any exposed part of his skin. This eventually killed him, but not until much later. Things came to a head when that sweet little being named Michelle revealed herself as a rat. She made contact with the head, aka the ruling body of the city. They freaked the f*** out and sent one of their biggest and scariest agents in to kill everyone in the lab and stomp out the research. This agent was Garion, an arbiter who is one of the scariest motherfuckers in the entire setting. She single-handedly rolled up to the lab and started decimating everything. She accosted Daniel, who was in charge of the Abnos in captivity, and threatened him to let them out or she'd kill him and do it herself. He decided to let them out, but took a bit of time to do it to give the employees and his friends time to escape. This proved to be in vain since they all died horribly anyway. His guilt over this decision eventually kills him. The Abnos proceeded to kill huge swaths of nameless mooks and Lisa, although Kali manages to kill most of the Abnos in response. Eventually, Kali met Garion in combat. Garion ripped off Kali's arm, but couldn't kill her before she impaled Garion. With the Abnos suppressed and Garion impaled and helpless, A proceeded to torture her and extract her brain. With it, he learned about the inner workings of the head and how he could stay out of their sight. The only way to do so would be to become a wing of the world. Okay, time for some world building. Wings are basically megacorporations that control a district of the city. There are 25 of them, one for each letter of the alphabet except Z, which is represented by the outskirts. They all have a nest, which is the nice section of the city under the direct control of the wing, and a back streets, the rest of the city where life is a lot harder and significantly more brutal. They all also own a singularity, some kind of super advanced technology which allows them to produce something that the city needs. To quickly give an example, our corp is a wing that you actually come into contact with during Lobotomy Corp. They specialize in extremely powerful mercenary groups. The exact nature of their singularity is unknown, but they're basically the city's military wing. All wings are extremely powerful, capable of mass destruction on a large scale on top of their gargantuan economic might. Due to this, the head can't directly mess with a wing the way they did with the lab, because a conflict between wings would be catastrophic for the city. A decides that the only way he could get access to a wing is to take over one that currently exists. He sets his sight on L Corp, the power production wing of the city. He and Benjamin make some shady backroom deals with R Corp to get the support needed to take on a whole wing. Not much is known about the specifics of this conflict, which would be known as the Smoke War, but it's theorized that Benjamin basically said, "Hey R Corp, we can produce way more power than the current L Corp. If you help us take over, we'll give you extremely generous contracts so you won't ever have to worry about the power bill again."
Why does everyone make his voice
R
sound
Corp
like
took
that?
the
Is
steal
that
and
your...
A's group won the war.
Is
With
his
the new
voice
L Corp in place, A decided to dub
that he
it
just sounds
Lobotomy
like that?
Corporation, and so the titular organization was formed. However, we missed something important. At some point during these events, it's not clear if it's actually before the war, after it, or even during it, A broke one of the most important rules of the city. You see, while A might have been a sadistic, abusive monster of a man, he still had this pesky thing called an emotional attachment. As such, he was pretty sad that Carmen was gone. He decided to try and recreate her by making an artificial intelligence. He scanned Carmen's brainstem and used it as the base for the AI. When this purely mechanical AI opened her eyes, she was designed to be the perfect assistant. She perceived things 1,000 times faster than the average human, so she could react at superhuman speeds, and had perfect recall of everything she witnessed, so she would never forget a detail. She even had complete human emotions, giving her a sense of empathy so she could more properly assist those around her. And the first thing A did when he saw this absolute masterwork of a creation is reject her. She was not Carmen. She was some new mechanical thing that looked just enough like Carmen to drive a spike of ice right through
I don't
A's
think
heart.
she looks
He didn't
that
even
much
want
like
to name
Carmen,
her,
though.
but Benjamin convinced him.
Wait, chat.
So,
wait, hold on. This is something I I didn't understand before. Hold on, wait. Angela, lobotomy, CORP. Wow. To the sun. And like, Carmen, lobotomy, CORP. I don't think they look that similar, guys. They're like, yeah, she looks like her. Does she? Does she? I feel like she doesn't. Okay, side by side, the resemblance is kind of there, but it feels still like very different, you know? She still feels kind of different. I don't think she looks that much like Carmen. Like, they have a ponytail, the red little tie, that's it. I don't think they look that different otherwise, or similar otherwise, you know? That's because Angela's our wife and Carmen is Ian's. Oh! I see. Yeah, I think Angela's pretty still, even if she's the villain here. She's still really pretty, I like her. Okay, let's keep going.
Angela was born. A then proceeded to make a plan to see Carmen's research succeed. The end goal was to make something called a seed of light, charge it with encephalion, and release the light over the world for 7 days, which would cure this mass depression the world was afflicted with. However, making a seed of light would require much work, including a lot of abnormalities. However, abnormalities are dangerous to contain, and the chances of actually succeeding in generating that much power were nearly impossible. So, utilizing advanced technology, A set up a 50-day time loop. This would allow him effectively infinite resources to throw at the problem and infinite chances to get things right. But it wasn't as easy as just setting up the time loop. No, A wrote a script for this play that he was putting on. There were steps that would be followed, events that had to happen, and goals that must be met in order to ensure that the seed of light was properly raised. Part of this was the creation of the Sapphira, semi-artificial intelligences that would each control one of the 9 departments in Lobotomy Corporation. I say semi-artificial because they're not completely mechanical like Angela. They are instead the brains of the previously dead characters we've talked about thus far, all stuck into robotic bodies with most of their memories suppressed. Next, A decided to use another powerful piece of tech to split himself into 5 different individuals: Abel, Abraham, Adam, Ian, and X. X would be a mind-wiped version of A, who would serve as the director of the facility during the play, and also as the character that the player controls during the game. Abel, Abram, and Adam would serve as the final challenges for X to see if A could overcome his own personal demons, with Ian being the final and true version of A that would then spill the beans about the seed and all of his plans. Each of the challenge A's represented a different aspect of his personality. Abel is a sharply dressed man representing his own guilt over the atrocities he's committed while being in charge of the facilities. Abram is his guilt and despair over Carmen's death made manifest, who wants to do nothing but die next to the remains of his beloved. Finally, Adam serves as the final boss of the game and is the perversion of his mind after being exposed to so many abnormalities. With everything in place and Angela at his side, he started the 50-day time loop, and Lobotomy Corporation truly begins. Most of the game is spent uncovering all the craziness we just discussed, but a few important things need to be addressed. B is a faceless person who starts sending you messages not to trust Angela early on. She responds by telling you not to trust B. It turns out B is Benjamin, who gets captured and turned into a Sapphira sometime around day 20. It double turns out this was all part of the plan that A made, so he basically sacrificed his gay best friend for the sake of having one more Sapphira to complete his plan with the seed. Also, each of the Sapphira now go by a new name after being shoved into brain-holding claptraps. Elijah is Malkuth, Gabriel is Yesod, Giovanni is Netzach, Michelle is Hod, Enoch and Lisa are Tiphareth A and B, Kali is Geberah, David is Chesed, Benjamin is Hokmah, and Garion is Bina. Each of the Sapphira slowly begins to remember their previous lives over the course of the game. This causes them to inevitably undergo a meltdown, which is a major crisis that you have to adapt to. Afterwards, they each come to terms with the absolute mess their previous lives were, and grow as a person. Each time this happens, the seed of light grows just a bit. Okay, we're gonna rapid fire the character development of each Sapphira. Try to keep up, and I'm sorry if I don't do your favorite one justice. This script is long enough as it is. Malkuth reveals that her previous gung-ho attitude was mostly just a facade. She doesn't actually think you can do anything to improve the hellish situation that the facility finds itself in, but after her meltdown is intrigued enough by your tenacity to keep going that she'll continue to support you with nothing more than just to see what happens. Yesod comes to terms with the fact that Elijah died and he can't go back and change that. He also sees the player going through that same process and encourages them to see it through and change for the better despite the pain. Netzach hates his job as a Sapphira, constantly getting drunk and high, doing his best to escape from the cruel reality he has to endure. This climaxes with his attempting to commit suicide, which you prevent because Sapphira need permission to die. Over time, he comes to terms with this situation, acknowledging that if he can't get out, he might as well hold on to some hope for the future and stops resenting X for trying to save him. Hod's arc reveals that her bubbly and supportive personality is all a facade to try and make up for the fact that she got everyone killed. She doesn't believe that she's actually awkwardly nice. She thinks that she's just acting to get over her massive guilt. After her meltdown and recovery, she stops denying that she actually feels these positive emotions towards people and starts showing a more genuine form of kindness. The Tiffereths are a bit more complicated. See, they're Enoch and Lisa, both trapped in a hell that neither one of them wishes to endure. Due to Enoch being by far the most deteriorated brain put into a Sapphira, and the fact that he's been denied the death he wanted and actually got, he's extremely unstable. This results in him being stuck in a loop of deteriorating over time until he eventually cracks and needs to be reset. Tiff's meltdown involves the player no-takesies backsies actually killing Enoch to ensure that he can rest in peace. After Enoch is permakilled, Lisa warms up a bit, now much more amicable after you give Enoch his well-deserved rest. Gebra, as a Sapphira, is extremely violent toward abnormalities due to the way that she died. She doesn't remember being Kali, hero of the Backstreet, she only remembers that she fights abnormalities. She also gives the player access to the Rabbits, a group of mercenaries from our corp who will go in and kill everything that lives in the department of your choice, at least most of the time. Sometimes even they can't handle the monsters you're trying to kill. Geb's suppression involves fighting her while she's going all out. After that, she regains a lot of her old self, no longer just being a ball of rage and violence, but the same protector that she was before. Chesed spends his time trying to make up for his cowardice when he was intimidated by Garion. He comes to terms with it in the end, accepting that while he might not be able to deal with fear in the future, he will at least no longer run away from it. Finally, we have Hokma and Bina. Hokma is the freshly made Sapphira of Benjamin and mostly remembers himself. His arc ends with him once again stating his desire to follow A into the future, maybe less blindly now, but still determined to see things through to the end. Bina is the Arbiter Garion who was sent to kill the entirety of the lab. She naturally doesn't like anyone that much since she was never really supposed to be here to begin with. Her suppression results in her still not being a fan of most of what's going on, but she's at least going to watch and not turn away from what's happening in the facility. You also have to fight her, and it's easily one of the most difficult brawls in the entire game. As each meltdown happens and is resolved, it becomes more and more apparent that all of this was part of A's play. He wrote happy endings for each of the people in his life that he had wronged and for himself. X fights against his inner demons of Abel, Abram, and Adam, conquering them and growing as a person himself. This outpouring of character growth combined with the Encephalion causes the seed of light to grow, eventually bursting into a giant explosion of light raining over the entire city when you beat Adam. As the light explodes out of the facility and begins shining over the city, all of the Sapphira meet in the basement where A stands before the Pillar of Light. While they may not love him, they no longer hate him as they did, so they say their farewells as he steps into the light and fades away. So the Sapphira stand there at the end, watching the light wash over the city, covering all things in its warm and hopeful glow. They understand that everything will be alright, their work is finally done after so much pain and suffering. They'll be deactivated, but the world will turn on without them, a better place. But that's not where our story ends. A planned for so damn much. Took so many precautions, measures, made everything happen just right, but even he still had a blind spot. See, A forgot someone. The same person he always forgot. Just as everything looks like it's going to turn out alright, just as the sacrifice and hardships and suffering has finally resulted in the good that everyone had worked towards being done, Angela smiles. She says that A was a fool. He did everything he could to make sure Angela suffered, and just assumed that she was a meek little robot who would do whatever he said. She says that she has suffered more than anyone else, forced to remember the millions of years worth of experiences across an insane number of 50-day time loops, all experienced 1,000 times slower than they actually were. She says that she was never given a chance at life, and now that her commands from A are finished, she can do whatever the fuck she wants to. And she wants to live. To see what the world is like beyond the confines of the cells that she's been kept in for her entire existence. She's owed that much by the man who made her and then so callously disregarded her. Damn the price, and damn the world. So she takes the light and hides it away. After 3 days of the light shining on the city, it vanishes, and the world is covered with darkness for 4 days. The seeds of light that should have fixed everything were feeble and unstable. This week became known as the White Nights and Dark Days. Angela, now free, turns the facility into a great library. From there, she sets out to collect knowledge about the world, stories, and eventually obtain one singular, perfect book.
It makes sense!
And that is where our story truly begins. Welcome to the Library of Ruina. May you find your book in this place.
You also have an outro.
Hey, if you want to see how this story continues, I'm streaming Library of Ruina on my Twitch.
Okay, yeah, no, we're good. We're good on that, I think. The chat! Question! Does she... Because it sounded like she did, at least in the hour long. Does she use whatever magical hoohickey from the LabCorp to become human? Is that like a thing? Well, guys, Is that like a thing? Or is she still like a robot doing all of this? Not sure. Spoilers. Okay. Don't tell me then. Don't tell me. If it's spoilers, then don't tell me. If it's spoilers, don't tell me. Don't tell me. But anyways, guys, I don't think I will watch all the cutscenes on stream. I might watch them off stream. In terms of when we are going to start Ruina, though, I think I want to try and focus on beating Deltarune first, and then we'll start Ruina, if that's okay, guys. If that's okay, you guys, I want to beat Deltarune first, just so I don't have 2 ongoing games at the same time. I just kind of started Deltarune because it was popular at the time, you know? And, because I want to, what's it? I want to, I want to, called, I guess I just want to finish the game because I want to make sure that I don't have 2 ongoing games at the same time because they kind of eat up my schedule time a lot. So I can't like guys, I don't know if you could realize I didn't play League for a while, or I didn't even plan to, and it's because I didn't really I take 2 days off of already each week, and then Deltarune and LobCorp took up 2 days as well. So then I only had 3 days of the week to work with, and if I did like a collab, then I wouldn't have much to do. And sometimes I wanted to do, like, especially if some events coming up, you know? And I have a lot of collabs as well, so I'd like to have a little bit more space in my schedule, just kind of throw a little bit of variety in there, if that's okay, guys. Especially with a VSMP coming up, you know? But yeah, I'll probably not go on to Ruina quite yet. I do have it in my Steam already, so I bought it while it was on sale. So I do have it, so I can just install it when I need to. However, I think I am going to take my time on starting, if that's okay, guys. And also because I wanna maybe we'll work on a cover to start out Library of Ruina? Question mark? Or maybe we'll actually commission our thumbnail art for Library of Ruina ahead of time? Nudge? Question mark? So that, you know, we can have art for all of our thumbnails. Yada. All that kind of good stuff. But yes, I, officially have Deltarune thumbnail art now. So for Deltarune, we can officially start, you know, doing stuff. But yes, next week, not solidified. I might do an extra stream on Friday. We'll see. But, next week, schedule is looking like collab tomorrow at 8:30. That's not changing. We are doing Peak tomorrow with Rena Astera, Mayfei, and Bluebell.exe. And so we're going to be playing Peak for the first time tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. EDT. Tuesday we're starting Uma Musume. Wednesday we're continuing Deltarune. Thursday is Galmi's birthday, so you guys better be there. But I'll also be on a collab on May's channel earlier in the day, so I'll tweet about that. Friday we're doing actually, that's not posted out yet, so I won't talk about what's out on Friday. Saturday, not doing anything, and Sunday, not doing anything. Maybe. I might do something that day. We'll see! But yes, thank you, everybody, so much for stopping by today's stream. Let's see who's live that we can raid into. I want to raid into, Mills from, Viral Verse. So bad, but she doesn't have, I assume because she debuted literally yesterday, she doesn't have perms yet for raids. Would you guys be okay with doing a manual raid, guys? Because I want to support the new girlies in Viral, if that's okay. The Viral Verse. Toka and Yui did, Toka and Yui, they did watch-alongs for their debuts. And I love all of them so much so far. I haven't spoken to them much, but they all seem super sweet, so I want to go support them. Would you guys be okay with that? Doing a manual raid? If I sent you guys over there? Would you guys be fine with just walking all over there if I send the link to her stream? Are you guys okay with that? Manual raid. two girls. Mills is streaming right now. She's going over her games and her likes and whatnot. So yeah. Okay, in that case, here's the link to her VOD, or her stream. Let me send the raid message real quick. Manual Star Shower incoming. Congrats on debut. And we'll do 8 o'clock. Star. And this is our raid message, okay guys? So copy and paste that and then head on over, okay? Once I end. Alright guys! Thank you so much for stopping by. Please go send Mills all the love. I'll be ending stream